Hey there, gang. Thanks for coming back. I say coming back because this is actually a part 2 video. We are finishing up the box that we opened yesterday. Oh, I guess I should say that up front too, right? This is a comic book unboxing video. Yay! So, now that I've just screwed up everything, roll credits. Hey there, Bubby. Welcome to Shanghalla. My name is Duke, and this is a comic book unboxing video. Stick around. We're going to have some fun. See, I've messed this all up. I was supposed to say that before the title roll. So anyway, yeah, we are finishing up the box that we, probably your time, it'll be yesterday. My time, it was about 2 minutes ago. We got about halfway through the box. I was particularly chatty. It was a pretty good box. Go back and, if you haven't seen it already, go back and look in the history and find that video. We're going to pick up with where we left off. Only about a quarter of this box left, but judging by the top few boxes, this is top few comics. My brain is fried. Not because I'm actually fried, just because I'm stupid. Maybe these videos would be better if I was fried. Anyway, like, share, subscribe, comment, do all the groovy things. Help me feed the algorithm, although why we should do that I don't know, because I'm not convinced right now I deserve to have 1,000 subscribers. But anyway, let's not waste any time. Let's get right to it. So, here it is. That was a thing I saw on top, and I did peek at the first couple and saw some interesting things. But Peanuts books go big. And I don't think, even though it has Schultz's name on it, Charles Schultz, I'm not sure he actually did these or that these are reformatted from comic strips. Now I'll have to look it up. But yeah, and this is part of the 4-color series. Now, the Peanuts, I think, did have their own run, but this is a 4-color comic, number 960. It's hard to see in the light here, 69. So I'll have to look up and see how deep into... He's got the book upside down. And why Snoopy's looking straight up, I have no idea. But I'll have to look up and see exactly when this is. Well, not as far as year, but as far as, is this, it's probably not the first. If this was the first appearance of Peanuts in comics, oh no, it wouldn't be that. It wouldn't be that because that was in Tip Top Comics, I think it was, where the Peanuts ran as a backup feature. Tip Tops was a United Feature Syndicate book that featured Nancy and Sluggo, if you even remember who they are. Is Nancy still being published? I bet it is. God, I haven't read a newspaper in so long. I haven't seen a comic strip in so long. Of course, there hasn't been really a decent comic strip since Calvin and Outland and Rose's Rose and Zits. Those were good ones. I should start this all over again. I really should. I have screwed this up so badly. All right. I'm not going to, though. I'm not going to get into that trap of starting over, trying to make the video perfect. It is what it is. So anyway, there's Peanuts. 4-color 969. This is cool. Adventures of Homer Ghost, and this is a Marvel comic book. So technically, Homer Ghost, who's obviously a Casper ripoff, Homer Ghost is in the MCU. Or not the MCU. That would be cool if he was in the MCU, but he is certainly in the Marvel Universe. This is from the Atlas era, and Atlas was the distribution company that was owned by Martin Goodman, who owned Marvel Comics, which at this time wasn't going by Marvel Comics. And they had about a zillion company names. He was, for tax purposes, he would publish under a bazillion different company names, and I'm looking to see what the name was in this one. I gotta look it up. Postal Publications Incorporated was the name of the company. But I mean, all of these companies, like 50 or 70 different indicia publishers. But those were all just sort of DBAs. They all had the same address, which was the address of Marvel Comics. So, but anyway, if you're not aware, people just refer to the Marvel Comics of this period as Atlas Comics, but Atlas was actually the name of the distributor. So this is a distributor mark, is what that actually is. This is Prize Comics, All for Love. Wow. What do you think of that? These two chicks are really out of proportion, though. She looks giant compared to her. That's crazy. I mean, that's really freaky. Once you look at it, you can't unsee it. Archie Annual, the 11th Archie Annual. Very nice and in great shape. Wow. That's like maybe a 775. A little bit of glue wrinkling back here. It's a problem you see with a lot of square-bound books. And I don't know what made me think of it, but DC's Ms. Tree series, Ms. Tree Mysteries, it was a brief series in the early mid-90s. But those books were just awful. I mean, this was all, they almost looked like it had water damage. All of the wrinkling up and down the spine on those books. This one, luckily, is pretty much confined to the back cover. But that's what that is. That's not water damage. That is just sort of the glue that binds the book. Rather, humidity or something just kind of made it wrinkle and warp. Archie's Joke Book Magazine, number 41. And there's number 40. Oh no, somebody told poor Veronica it was a costume party. Huh. Who do you think? Here's Archie number 105. I really love the artwork during this period. Archie books really, and it's funny, today's Archie, nobody seems to know how to actually draw Archie when they put out a book in the classic style. There's Archie 103. Oh, cool. The Adventures of Jerry Lewis, number 51, and this is pretty soon after the switch. I think the first 40 issues were the Adventures of Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis. And this probably was a bi-monthly book, so, 10, 11 issues. That was, a couple of years. So not that soon after, actually. But I think it was around issue 40 that when the duo split up in real life. And this is in nice shape, too. That's in nice shape. Here's another one, number 52. Very nice, very nice. 53. With Hoagie the Yogi. I don't know who that actually is. Betty and Veronica Annual, number 7. Nice. Nice. This box for you if you like Archie, huh? Number 44. Archie's Girls, Betty and Veronica, 44. It's kind of a weird shirt for Archie, that kind of Hawaiian thing. Now published every month. Wow. Huh. All right, let's see what we got next. Well, now we're really switching gears. This is Blackhawk, number 135. So DC took over this title from Quality Comics at, I think it was number 108. The Villain with 1,000 Traps. And I didn't really know what to do with Blackhawk when there wasn't a war going on. But this is kind of a variation on the War Wheel, which was a classic vehicle from the Blackhawks that they were often fighting. Kind of every time the War Wheel appeared, it's like that. What is the Cinema Sins thing that they always make fun of? What is it? The Prometheus school of running away from things. Ding. That's exactly what you get here, because it's just run to the side, dummies. I don't know if this is Reed Crandall or Dick Dillon. Dick Dillon, who had a long run on Justice League, basically went on to the Justice League when Blackhawk was finally canceled, which was in 1968-ish or so. And just like Jerry Lewis had his own DC Comics, so did Bob Hope for much, much longer than you might think today. Probably some of you out there who don't even know who Bob Hope is, but he was a big deal. I don't know why he's fighting Bluto. But anyway, here's another Bob Hope. Yep. I think this is Bob Oxner, who did these books. It's got kind of a marker sketch quality to it. But oh, wow. Now here's something you don't see every day, and certainly not in condition this nice. Wow. Wow, it'll be a crime. These types of books usually don't do well for us on eBay, and it'll be a crime when this goes for like less than $10. But that's Flippity and Flop. That was kind of a rip on Tweety and Sylvester, obviously. And I think Flippity and Flop came from Columbia. DC licensed the Columbia movies' animated characters. I don't know if Flippity and Flop ever actually had a cartoon. I can't remember a Flippity Flop cartoon. So maybe those are original to the comics. I don't know. I'd have to look that up. A Date with Judy, and that was based on a radio show. DC licensed some radio shows, including Gangbusters and Mr. District Attorney, and also A Date with Judy. There's number 69. Here's Date with Judy number 72 with Doggy. Number 71. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Girls' Romances, number 61. It's a DC romance book. You see how with the romance books, they put a little heart in place of the DC logo, and in place of where it would normally say Superman, National Superman Comics, they put Romance Group. And I think the DC romance books were edited out of a different office. I have to look this up. I think they had a female editor, and I believe they were edited out of a different physical office than the rest of the DC books. I think that's the case. House of Mystery, number 86. The Beast That Slept 1,000 Years. It's Godzilla. I wonder if this predates Godzilla. I bet it does. Unfortunately, I've got a big stain right here. Somebody hawked a loogie on it right there. Why am I even touching it? But anyway, House of Mystery started out as a horror mystery book and then sort of evolved into kind of a bug-eyed monster book there for a long time. Spooky the Tough Little Ghost, number 30. This is an Eden box. I don't know if ME Unit Comics is watching, Matt and Eden, but a lot of nice Eden books in this box. There's Spooky number 31. Look at that. Scared the stripes right off the zebra. That came right out of the cartoons. That happened a lot. Here's Laugh number 96. They're in good shape too. Nice shape for, what year is this? Probably about 58, 57. I gotta hold a closer look at 59. That's a 1959 book right there. In really nice shape. Wow. I mean, it's probably a 6.5, but could be a 7. Oh no. Look at that. Archie's pal Jughead, number 55. Oh, Reggie's he's in trouble. He's in trouble. All right, let's see what else we got here. Katy Keene, the fashion queen. I think she just had a TV show that starred some girl who was on some other show, but she actually started out on American Idol Junior. I can't remember her name. But anyway, I don't think the TV show lasted that long. The comic book lasted quite a while, though. Katy Keene Pinup Parade. It's a giant square pound book. My goodness, Katy Keene pinups galore for your collection, too. So it's another thing about Katy Keene books. You got to be careful. You always got to flip through them. Now, you should flip through your books anyway to make sure somebody hasn't cut out the Marvel value stamp or a coupon or something, you know. But with Katy Keene, it had all of these paper dolls in them. And so you got to be careful. Make sure the book's complete. And like actually count the pages too, because sometimes some of those kids were pretty adept with the X-Acto blade, and they could cut that book out. They could cut a page out right down near the spine where you wouldn't even know unless you counted the pages that a page is missing. And you can go to Mike's Amazing World of Comics or the Grand Comics database online. Find out how many pages the book is supposed to have. Mystery in Space, number 51. That's a cool cover. That's a really nice cover. I would frame that and put that right on my wall. And that's in nice shape. Honestly, I don't know why we didn't send these to CGC. Usually a book that we would expect to sell for more than $100 or so, especially if it's in nice shape like this, we would send it to CGC, get it all slabbed and hermetically sealed, and then sell it on Comic Link instead of on eBay. But maybe the owner thinks that's not going to go for $100. I think it will. Millie the Model. So that's a Marvel book. Again, it doesn't say Marvel on there anywhere, but trust me, that's a pre-Marvel book. And Stan Lee was a big fan of the Millie books. And Stan was notorious for signing everything he ever touched. And there it is, Stan Lee and Dan DeCarlo. Dan DeCarlo, who is famous for Archie, and he actually went to Archie after leaving Marvel. And I can't remember why he left Marvel. It's a classic Dan DeCarlo looking character. And this one got some paper dolls too. But anyway, Stan famously signed everything. The legend is that, Stan Lee was a one-man shop at Marvel and wrote everything, but he actually farmed out a lot of the writing, and not just to his brother Larry Lieber, but to other writers who to this day remain anonymous. He did not write everything, and because he was such a fiend for putting his name on anything he touched, you can usually tell by whether or not it has Stan Lee's signature on it, on the first page usually, or whether or not he actually wrote it or filled in the dialogue balloons. Because even then, again, part of the legend is that when Marvel became so popular, that's when Stan invented the Marvel method, where he would just, give the would give the artist a brief plot, and then the artist would do most of the pacing and the plotting, and then, bring it back, and then Stan would put in the dialogue and the captions and all of that. He didn't actually sit down and write a full script for every book, but he actually did that before the Marvel Age. He was working that same way. And partly for, to give him his due, partly for the same need, because he was, basically Marvel was a one-man operation. It was him and Saul Brodsky in production, and I think they had a secretary, a receptionist, and that was about it. Marvel, up until the Fantastic Four and Spider-Man hit, Marvel was the red-headed bastard stepchild of Martin Goodman's publishing empire. Excuse me, just hit probably knocked that way out of alignment. I just hit the tripod. It's scratching my belly. A little too much info there on how the sausage is made. But even, Stan's Martin Goodman's other publishing ventures, the pulp magazines, and even the girly magazines were a bigger deal at the time than the comic books. But anyway, where was I going with that? Marvel, Stan wrote a lot of the Millie books. He really liked Millie. That's something he enjoyed doing, and so his name's all over those. And a lot of them are signed by Stan Lee, as if, as here it says, against Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. That would be weird. Millie the Model by Steve Ditko. That would be crazy. Dan DeCarlo. And that is Stan's actual signature, so he wrote that. But there are some issues where it is signed by Stan almost as if you would think he was the artist. Okay, Peter Porkchops. I think that's also a Columbia character. And that's the riff on Porky Pig. Patsy and Hedy. I think Hedy is how you pronounce it. But Hedy was the best friend of Patsy Walker. Patsy Walker, whom you know as Hellcat. But Patsy actually predates the Marvel Universe. She was around for years and years. She dates back to the late 40s. For a long time, this was a classic, the working girl genre. Not a working girl like a Julia Roberts working girl, but just a career girl. Secretaries and that type of thing. Before that was really fashionable. I don't know why I said fashionable like that. But anyway, so in addition to having her own comic book, Patsy also starred in Patsy and Hedy. And the Marvel books from this period and in the Golden Age as well, they're a little thinner. This hasn't been trimmed. They actually were thinner than most comic books. And I told you here it is. Patsy Walker did have her own book. Oh, too bad that's stained. Again, why do I touch it? I don't know what that is. But, and see, this is, Lee Hartley. Huh, interesting. I don't know if I know who Lee Hartley is. Here's some more Patsy Walker, number 84. So this is kind of, if you watch the January Jones shows on Netflix, and Patsy Walker, or a version of Patsy Walker, appeared there, and the whole thing was that Patsy had been the subject of books written by her mother, and that sort of is sort of an in-house joke, I guess, if you will, on the fact that Patsy Walker appeared in comic books, really kind of predating, as I said, the Marvel Universe. Here's Patsy Walker number 82, Super Duck from Archie Comics. There you go. You could file a copyright claim, DC did, against Captain Marvel and Wonder Man, but as long as you made your rip off a duck. And you think Disney would have stepped in, been like, it looks like Huey, Dewey, and Louie. And again, boy, we've got some big old pendulum swings here in this stack, but there is Strange Adventures number 102, The Three Faces of Barry Morrell. That's interesting. See, now that's an intriguing cover. That would make me want to open that up and see what the heck was going on there. Superman's girlfriend, Lois Lane, and was that an actual, The Ugly Superman? I think he made a couple of appearances, if I remember correctly. But that, oh my God, I didn't even realize that's such an early issue. That is just number 8. Wow, very cool. Very, very cool. All right, here's the last stack in this box, which again, I've been not my best work in this video. So maybe you're thankful. But this is Sergeant Bilko's Private Doberman. Private Doberman was a character on the Phil Silvers show, which was where Sergeant Bilko was from. So there's number 7. I don't think that series lasted all that long. Jungle Action featuring Black Panther. There you go. There's some more Jungle Action, 23. Jungle Action actually first started out as a series reprinting some of the jungle stories that Marvel did back during its Atlas era in the 50s. And after, oh gosh, I can't remember how many issues, just a handful. It obviously wasn't working. So they ditched the old 1950s reprints and had the genius stroke of putting the Black Panther in the title, because of course Wakanda is in the jungle. 24. I don't know how this series, still though, even with Black Panther, it didn't last that long. I don't think it was much past that number 24 that we just saw there. Here's number 20. Number 21. And I'm trying to remember who the writer was. Because these are, yes, Don McGregor. I couldn't think of it. But some of McGregor's stories on this title were notoriously purpley prosy, kind of wordy, but not wordy so much as a Roy Thomas book, but just pretty purple prose. Here's number 22. Number 23, we just saw that one, I think, didn't we? Oh, there's a nice Avengers book with Ultron and Wonder Man and that costume that he wore briefly. Marvel Chillers number 1, starring Mordred the Mystic. And that looks like a Gil Kane cover to me. And here it is, the last book in this box, Marvel Premiere featuring Iron Fist. And I think that is the second appearance of Iron Fist. I think he made his debut in number 15 of Marvel Premiere. Marvel Premiere starred Adam Warlock for the first 2 issues. Then he got his own title. And then Doctor Strange from number 3 to 14. And then he got his own title. And then Iron Fist from, I think it's 15 to 25. And then he got his own title. But that was the end of that was the end of that. Pretty much everyone who appeared in Marvel Premiere after that were like one-offs and never got their own series, or at least not around that time anyway. That's it. That's the end of that box. That was a different box. Well, I say the end of that box. It's the end of that half of that box. Anyway, I'm going to grade these books. Boy, I hope my grading will be better than my narrating has been in this video. Anyway, thanks for watching so much. I appreciate your time. I hope you had fun. And until the next video, goodbye, good luck, and please be good to each other.